Hola. Welcome to episode 21 of Word to Your Mama. Today we have Aaron Woes Martin. He's family to me, but I wanted to have him on because he's definitely an internationally known artist, muralist, big name in the designer toy world. We go way back. But I wanted him to be on today because I wanted him to talk about, he's talked about art for days, right? Everywhere he goes. But I wanted to talk about how being in a crazy life-threatening crash impacted his life and how that was like the catalyst for getting him where he is here today. Our love of hip-hop and how it's pretty much dictated everything in our life. How we're not fair weather fans. And also because he's one of the owners and founders of the Boom Bap Kids, this amazing project that has come out of the pandemic. It's going a couple more months and it'll be a year strong. But to see the evolution of that is amazing. So we talk about the starts of that and how that all came about. And you have to check out the Boom Bap Kids. They call it Boom Bap Nostalgia, purveyors of fun hip-hop shit. And you just have to see it to believe it. It's amazing puppets spinning with special guest DJs. And it just brings joy. It brings joy. So let's talk about all those different elements and let's get it started. You know, not fucking traveling and shit.
Yeah.
But he's good. He said, what up? I got some questions from him later for you. Cool. Questions from the audience. Woesy woes. Aaron Martin, but I call you Woes because you're my brother.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of people nowadays, when you say your name, you don't just say Woes. You say Aaron Woes Martin.
Yeah, or just say, when they say, can I call you Woes? I'm like, yeah, either that or Aaron Martin. It's cool.
Yeah. But I can call you Woes.
For sure.
So I was trying to, I was doing my outline and shit and trying to figure out what I want to talk to you about. And just like with our good friend Kano, I feel the same way about you. Like you've done mad interviews on print, audio, visual, whatever, about you and being an artist and all this stuff. And so that shit's out there. You can look that shit up for days. But I wanted to talk to you more about kind of like other stuff that has really impacted your life. Right? But before we get into that, how did we meet?
We actually, if I remember right, it was because of we all did the Bic Buddy.
Yes. Shout out Marka. Shout out. Who's going to be on?
Yes.
In the next
big
month.
Big time. Yeah. Shout out to Marka.
Yeah. So we did the Big Buddies. The series Big Buddy. Because you were in it, Kano. That's how I met all you fools. Was because of that.
And I met you at that show where I think I was playing live with Biz Markie. Was that the one?
Yeah.
Or was that it?
I think so.
That was the one. That was the first time I met you there.
Was that before or after the Big Buddy?
It was after the Bic was released.
And was that before or after the big release show at Crew West? Or was that the same night?
No, that was after. The show came up after. The big show came up after because you came up to me during that art show and you're like, oh, I'm Ritzy. I did the Big Buddy. And I was just like, oh, shit. So we're connecting faces to artists,
And I remember I gave Biz Markie
That's dope.
My Big Buddy. I don't know if he still has it because I know he's like a big collector.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him recently. I don't know if it was a recent one or if it was a classic one. I don't know if you listened to Questlove's podcast, Questlove Supreme. And so he had him on. If you haven't listened to that one, you especially.
I do need to get it, yeah.
I think it's a two-parter too. And he talks about like how he collects all kinds of shit, especially vinyl and shit. And like to the point where Questlove, who's also known as a crazy collector, he was jealous. Like a hater on Biz Markie.
Oh, yeah.
Because Biz Markie was
way
like.
Back when I heard Biz even had a huge Barbie collection, I heard.
I don't doubt it, dude. He's like really into that shit. That he has his own, like he has a separate house or some shit to hold his collection, like a whole nother building or another house just to hold his collection of all his shit. Can you imagine?
That's so dope.
So I was like, I hope he kept it. And I hope it's
I just want his turntables. Here's these little mini Technique 1200s for 45s.
so dope. That'd
And
be so
it's
dope.
the only pair ever made.
Man, he was talking about shit like that. Like a lot of shit that a lot of people made just for him. And like, let me tell you right now, this weekend, before the weekend's
Okay.
over, you have to
Send me a
listen to
link.
it.
I'll go watch it.
Yeah, you have to listen to it. It's super, super good. I just heard part 1 and part 2 of Kwame.
Ooh, I actually saw a post about that.
Did
Because I
you?
follow Kwame on Instagram. I'll be watching him DJ and shit.
I don't. And I was like, I need to follow Kwame. It was like, I'm sure you have polka dots. I rock the polka dots. Like,
Dude, I must have had at least 6 different polka dot rayon suits in high school.
I remember like I got some polka dot fabric and I patched it in my jeans and shit.
Oh. My aunt spoiled me, so we got mad polka dot gear from Oak Tree back in the day.
Oak tree.
I used to get my polka dots, my Guess overalls and Guess jeans and shirts from Oak Tree.
And your jabos.
Jabos, yep, totally. Oh my gosh, I never sported Z Cavariccis though. I wasn't into Z Cavariccis.
Did you sport cross colors?
I did. I had hella cross colors. I had so much cross colors that some of the black homies that I kicked it with hated me because I had all the shit.
Because you're flexing. You were like, bah.
I'm flexing. I'm the only Filipino in school. So they're like, how the fuck does this Asian dude get all
Hilarious. My second job.
I remember this one dude, Spoonie, he would, because we had so much cross colors, but he was a scary dude. I think, he also kicked it with a lot of Crips and shit, but I remember homeboy was like, you better not wear this shirt on Friday because I'm wearing this shirt. Because there'd be days we'd wear the same shit, and he would get hella mad, and I was hella scared of him because he was like a fucking senior.
So
hilarious.
Did you ever wear the same thing?
Yeah, we
on
did.
the same day? Did he fuck you up, or he just threatened you to never do it again? Then you never did it again.
He threatening me, but the thing is, my sister was like hella popular. She was a senior, and we got along with everybody. I hung out with cholos, jocks. It was all across the board because we were the Hawaii kids.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're Hawaii. They're from Hawaii. So we're like instantly kind of popular.
Yeah.
Because we're from Hawaii. So no one fucked with me because my sister was a dancer and she kicked it with hella black chicks, and then she was in like the cheerleading squad, and they make like MC Hammer routines and shit. So she had mad respect. So everyone was like, you better not fuck with her brother. You know what I mean? Even though he really wanted to fuck me
but
up.
he didn't want to catch that smoke from your sister. That's amazing. I was just telling Rocka the other day, he brought up Oak Tree or something like that, and I was like, nah, dude. I used to work at a place called DJs with the Z. It was like the chess. Oh, he said, oh, something chess king, and I was like, nah. I used to work at DJs with the Z, and it had like all the cross color shit, right? And I was in San Diego, so it was like a swabby town, like a bunch of Navy dudes, right? So like, the reason why I came up because I was telling him, I was like, I don't do well sales. That's not part of my skills, sales, unless I believe in the product, right? If I believe in the product, you'll buy it because I believe in you, feel it.
Yeah.
So
you're hyped on it.
I'm hyped on it, and you could feel that it's genuine. I can't fake the funk on some shit I don't know. So I'm in this DJs, and so like the 1st and 15th, all the Navy people, all the Navy dudes would come in, and they would be like trying to buy all the shit, right? So my manager was gay. We got along like this, but I wasn't never making my quota because I couldn't sell shit because I'd take people to the back, to the sales racks, right?
Oh, nice.
So, but this one time he's like, well, you need to like step it up, like, sales, I'm getting some flack. And I was like, all right. So this one ginger dude from like Idaho came in the Navy. He's like brand new in the Navy, looked kind of scary. Like he was like afraid, like he was like nervous. And he's like, yeah, they told me to come here and get some gear. I sold him cross colors from head to toe. I think I gave him, he bought a beanie, a belt, the pants, the hoodies, the jackets. He was
Damn.
like, and I was telling Rock, I was like, I still feel bad to this day. Because, like, I made him go all out. I think he might have even put it on to wear out that day. Like, full-blown cross
He left the
colors.
store.
Yeah, yeah.
I always thought Human was the Bobo cross color.
It was.
And I hated those drawings, those illustrations with the
Yeah.
dude with the hair. You know, they were just silhouettes, like
Yeah.
colored silhouettes. Yeah,
They were like those fashion drawings, like those fashion
totally.
drawings. Oh, my God. Oh, that's crazy. So that year was like, we met in, 2008? 9?
2008 or 9, because that's when I moved to LA.
Yeah. So, okay. So people know you. People are listening right now because they know you probably because, you're internationally known artist, muralist, da-da-da-da, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the main things that I feel like a lot of my guests that are part of my tribe that I have on this show, they're all dope. But like a common thread is that I think we all have in common is the non-linear career path, right? But I feel like we're all creatives in some way. If we're not
Mm-hmm.
full-blown creatives like, you and I, whatever. But so I was thinking about that for you and your career, born and raised Hawaii, you were like part in Nevada, part Southern California, part up north, blah, 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 blah. One thing that I feel, and I want to see what you think, you were in like a crazy crash back in the days, right? Like
Yeah.
life-threatening, like fucked up shit.
Yeah, so near death.
Near-death experience. What was this, like the 90s?
This is 98.
How old were you in 98?
I
Or when
think
this
I was
happened?
22. Early 20s, man. See, that's when you know you get old, when you have to do the math in your head to figure out what you. I think I was like 22, maybe 22.
Yeah. So that's that weird age. Like I just had, 2 reps from Gen Y and Gen Z on to figure out how that is. It's very interesting, because they grew up on another time. But like, it doesn't matter what generation you are. That age, it's like you're not a kid, but you're just entering adulthood. So that's like some fucking crazy important time. And then to have a life-threatening accident, how do you feel that's impacted your life? And do you think you'd be where you're at now if it wasn't for that crazy accident?
Never. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, because taking it that it was in my early 20s, and like my parents were knuckleheads, so we grew up knuckleheads. We never were taught about credit cards or credit, or we never had a focus of, we're going to go to college after school. My parents was more, they're teenagers. So when they had us, so for them, it was just pick up and go, like what happens. So, after I graduated, in high school, discovering hip hop, that turned me into like, when it came to education, I was just all about hip hop. I just wanted to paint, rap, and, dance, you know what I mean? So, actually, yeah. So then in 98, after being involved in Hawaii hip hop, going to shows, and, that was like, for us, it's like the golden era age, it was all about ciphers and mobbing around with your friends and shit. So, for some reason in the ending of 97, all the homies were like, hey, we should all go to school. So we're all like out of pocket. We're like, yeah, it was funny because we motivated each other. They're like, yeah, dude, community college, it'll be like maybe max $300 to $400, like, let's get it,
Yeah.
So then, I ended up in community college, and it was just like, you take all your homies from different parts of the island, and we all go to the same community college. It becomes high school again.
13th grade.
13th grade. So it was just all about girls, freestyling in the courtyard. We treated community college like it was some fucking university with fucking huge parties.
Of course.
And, I only went to my art classes. I only went to my ceramics class and video classes because I actually wanted to get into cinematography and stuff. But it's just funny because during that time, I felt like I was getting my life together, meaning I was paying out of pocket. I had my own apartment. I owned my own car. It was an old-ass car, but I felt like I had my shit together.
Yeah.
I was on that road of trying to figure out on getting my shit together as an early adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this car accident smacked me like in 98. And it was almost like a wake-up call, and it was really serious to a point where, that they had to cut me out with the jaws of life.
Damn.
And even my parents, my mom and, my sister and all them, they said when they went to go get my belongings from my car, when you look at the car, it looked like, because there's blood stains in there, It looked like no one survived that crash. You know what I mean? I wish I had a picture of it. But, the car accident put it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, but it was also the best thing that happened to me. Because, like going through therapy, physical therapy, all that mentalness and stuff, it got me back into painting. And that's all I could do because I was paralyzed on my left side. Like I was immobile. My left arm and left leg were not mobile.
Damn.
They just hung. They hung. So I started getting it back. I could move my arm and I could move my leg, but I had no control over my ankles or my wrist. So my hand, and the doctor told me that I may not get it back. I forgot the physical term or the scientific term or whatever, but it's when your arm shrinks because you're not using it anymore.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So,
atrophy? Is that the right word?
Atrophy.
Yeah.
Atrophy. That's it. So yeah, my doctor told me that my arm might shrink. Like turn skinny and weird. I told him, dude, if that happens, I'm chopping that shit off. I don't give a shit. I'd rather have a cool ass fucking hook than
a shriveled
up tree fucking arm, or T-Rex arm. But I mean, slowly from therapy, it came back, and then that was all the physical stuff. So the physical stuff, it was like total after school special shit because I would be in therapy, and there was this bridge with the rails.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one arm worked, so I was on the rail.
It's not funny, but you're making me like, people can't see this if they're not watching the video. So
I know, but my parents would be on one side of the room, and I had to walk over this bridge towards them.
Okay.
And it was that classic scene, like in, like after school special, where they're all looking at me and they're kind of rooting me on. Kind of like, you can do it, man. You got it.
And you hear the dramatic music in the background.
Yep. And then me, super pissed off and fucking mad, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, stop looking at me. Like another world shit, I was just like, fuck you. You don't know how hard it is, like just hella pissed off, you know what I mean? Like total like drama, like TV drama, man.
But it's
and
real.
My parents all like,
it's funny now, but it was real. It was real.
Oh, totally. And they're like telling my brother, we should leave the room. And I'm all crying and fucking angry, I'm fucking livid, like, dude.
Totally.
But yeah, like doing all that and stuff. So I was like in a wheelchair for like almost a year.
Damn.
And then it's just funny because that was all physical. And when I got mobile again, then my dad gave me my old job back, and I was just like building crates and driving forklift and doing shipping and receiving at a moving company.
Mm-hmm. Staying competitive in these dynamic times means having the right technology at work for your small or medium-sized business. Whether your goal is to grow, downsize, or modernize, Panoply BPO provides the right combination of tools, support, and affordability necessary to make it a reality. Visit panoplybpo.com. That's PANOPLYBPO.com to schedule your no obligation consultation today. Mention WTYM and get your 13th month of service for free. PanoplyBPO.com. There is a better way.
And this old dude rolled up to me. He must have been like in his mid 60s. And he was just like, "Hey, Martin, how old are you?" And I was just like, "I'm 22." And he's like, "Oh, I started here at your age." And I was like,
You're like, oh, hell no.
"I'm getting the fuck out of here." What the fuck? Hella big fucking local guy on a fucking, on a fucking forklift telling me like, "Yeah, man, you're on your way."
You're like, no, my brother.
No. And, that's when the mental shit hit because I was like, fuck that. I didn't know what to do. My dad hella helped me get this job. You know what I mean? I'm living with my parents. I don't have my car. I don't have my place. The person that hit me was trying to sue me.
Ugh.
But he couldn't because they actually think he was drunk when he got hit. They didn't do the test.
Oh, man.
So when his lawyers hit me up, they're like, "Yo, my client wants to sue you for this and that," and I was like, "Okay, well," I was just real. I was just like, "You can try and sue me, but everything I own, I lost. My car was the only thing I own. I don't have a fucking savings.
Yeah.
And fucking the only thing I have left is my PlayStation. So if he wants my PlayStation, you guys don't even have to fight. I'll give it to you." So they gave up. The guy, they probably went back and was like, "Dude, you can't get nothing from this guy. There's no way you're gonna get money from him." You know what I mean? So when I left my job, I a huge again with my parents. My mom was like, pretty much like, "You need to get the hell out of the house," like kick me out kind of deals. And that's when I ended up moving to Seattle. And when I moved to Seattle, I told my mom, "Oh yeah, I found a place to stay. I'm moving." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm glad that you found a place. Where you going?" And I'm like, "I'm going to Washington. I'm going to Seattle." She's like, "What the fuck? Why you moving to Seattle? Like, what the hell?" I was like, but yeah, I mean, it was from then on, like all of it went back to a point where it all made sense to me. Like when I moved to Seattle, like being opened up by just the creative community.
Yeah.
And, it was so different because Hawaii was so conservative at the time. And, Hawaii's always been at least 4 years behind when it came to hot shit back in the day, like what was cool or what was popping or whatever. And it motivated me because, and even though I was depressed as shit, I moved to Seattle with like $500. I didn't have a job. I was staying at a homie's house, but it made me get creative. Even though I wasn't getting paid for whatever, like, I was indoors. I wasn't spending any money. All I did was create. So it was painting, sculpting, drawing. I was all about it, and then I found a store that was really dope, and it was called Houston, owned by Matt Houston. And I noticed that from being a graph head from back in the day, that there were pieces in there by graph dudes that I admired in my younger days in high school, and that was like Futura 2000 and Cause had, started blowing up. He had screen prints there for like $300, which is
imagine
screen prints.
Imagine.
And Money Mark had a toy there. The original Point Man figure by Futura was there, which was amazing. And I was like, all this stuff that I was into as a kid, like graffiti dudes and then toys.
Yeah.
And then just art, like all this shit. And it was during the time where like Tokyon Magazine, Relax.
Tokyon, yes.
Yeah, and Lowdown, the Lowdown books were out, and that's when that huge movement where it was music street scene, like streetwear scene and skating was all merging. Design, skating, hip hop, all
Fashion.
this
Yeah.
fashion was all merging into this really cool design community. So I couldn't afford the original paintings, but I could afford magazines. So I was buying Tokyon, Relax, Giant Robot. I was buying
Yeah.
posters, like anything I can do that can motivate me. And that's the stuff I looked at. And, this is before the upper playground movement. Upper playground movement came out a little bit after that.
That
So
changed the game for sure.
yeah, so I was more following cats like even He Cox, Ryan McGinnis,
Hecox, yeah.
Mr. Jago, Twisto, Barry McGee and his wife, like
That
Margaret
whole,
Killigan and all them. That
yeah.
was Andy Howell. Shout out to Andy Howell, and like that I call them like they were like the seniors at the time, as far as
Yeah.
like if we were all in school, they're killing the game. But it was those cats that inspired me to even, because I was always still into graph, even then, because, Northwest is so huge with freight bombs and all that stuff. So I was just fascinated with all that, and it all merged together. And of course, I was broke. So what could I do for free? And I was to create at home.
Yeah.
So I was at home, and my homie, he sold drugs, well, pills. So I took a lot of psychedelics and, that kind of stuff and just vibe out at home.
And just create. And all that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for something that could have really broken somebody. Because you were literally physically broken, but it could have mentally. Well, I mean, it sounded like at some points you had to strive and persevere to get to that other side. And, someone could have maybe gotten to the other side, but then maybe would have stayed on the island, stuck. And then you would have been homeboy that would have been making it at 65 years old. That dude or whatever that dude was saying like, "Oh, you're on your way."
Driving a forklift.
that could have been you, and that's fine for some people, but because of the impact of something tragic, it propelled you, and that's why the world has you. That's why we know each other.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. And I really wanted to really make a point of talking about that because I feel like it's motivation, right? Because I feel like,
totally,
whether it's something crazy like that happen or traumatic childhood, fucked up shit, like it makes you strive to do better, to be better. And kind of like, fuck it, it sounds like you're kind of like, fuck, I don't fucking got anything. And I fucking lived this fucking shit.
I work the same way too. That's exactly how I worked in the beginning. And that's what I always tell young cats coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't lose that energy. That same energy that I had when I first discovered it is the same energy that I carry on now. It never faded off.
Like you never get comfortable. Like you can never get comfortable. I think that's what, I think that's what a lot of successful people have in common. Like you never get comfortable. Like the day that shit, there's not like you don't get nervous or you don't like, there's not, you don't got that drive. You're not hungry for it. You gotta rethink shit.
Totally.
And another thing that I feel like you mentioned it, and also a group of people on here that I have, hip hop, the impact of hip hop and how we're not fair weather friends. We're not fair weather fans, right? Like, like when I had Kano on and when I was talking to Mad Twins on here, like we didn't grow up. We weren't all about it in elementary, junior high, high school. And then when we got into our 30s and 40s, we outgrew it. Like, I'm to the death.
We're lifers. We are lifers. Yeah.
Lifers.
Totally.
Like, because I think what's different too is that kids nowadays, like I was talking to the young cats, my niece and nephew that are dope, and they don't they understand because they have good people in their life. But a lot of kids, they might be into hip hop, but they're not like, when we grew up, you already were knowing of the elements of hip hop. The dancing, the graph, the beatbox.
Dabbled into it for sure.
Like I tried them all, and I was like, I suck at this one. Let me go over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I be down? Like, how do I get into this world? Because this shit's about me. Like, this shit, I gravitate towards it. Like, when you came, you were the only Filipino cat, but you were into hip hop. Like, we grew up at a time where everything was so compartmentalized and you can only like one type of music. But I feel like we're the same too, right? Like I loved hip hop as much as I love Morrissey and the Smiths and Echo and the Bunnymen and all that shit. Like
For sure.
right? But it wasn't cool back then. Like people were like sweating me because I was doing that. But hip hop, going back to hip hop is in the Supernatural Bear would not be here if it wasn't for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, that's straight up.
That's like really real. And hip hop is such a big. It's the way we live our lives. It's not just the music we listen to. It's our lifestyle, right? It's like, and I feel like when I was in the Big Buddies and I met all of you, I was like, I met my people, right? And I think that's why, like, we're family now. It's just kind of like, because we're creatives, but also because hip hop was, such a integral part of our lives, right? And all the different elements. So much so that we love to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was remembering, I don't know if it was Art Basel 2010 or Art Basel 2011. Remember we're in Miami and remember we're dancing. Man.
That was such a good time.
That was such an amazing night. And then remember, what's his name? Italian dope ass artist. Never. 2501. Is that how you say it?
2501. Yeah. 2501.
Never, right? He was like, he's like, I don't know. I'm going to do a terrible Italian accent. He was like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if you guys are the best art crew, but you guys are the best dance crew. Remember?
Man, I miss that guy.
Man, so like shit like that, like it's just, it brings people together. It's part of our lives. And I feel like that's a good segue into the first questions from the audience. And it's from your nephew, the Supernatural Bear. He wants to know, where did the inspiration of Boom Bap Kids come from? So maybe first tell the people what Boom Bap Kids is.
Okay, so Boom Bap Kids was actually something that me and Kevin Lyons kind of created as a hashtag. Because it's funny, there's a few people in the art world that I look up to, and it's funny because they also, it's like nostalgia, like it takes me back to being a kid, where you see someone walk in the room that you admire, or you see someone's work or whatever, and there's a few OGs that I look up to that has that vibe, you know what I mean? There's Chaz and Christina.
Please believe it.
Are that vibes. When I see them, I'm like, damn, I want to be like them when I'm a senior, you know what I mean? Like, they're fucking cool as fuck. And then, OG Slick.
Yep.
Which I actually have a lot in common. Like, he's a big kid, like he's always getting in trouble with, with shit. And, and that happens with me now with Ming. But, I mean, he's, OG. And then there's fucking Kevin Lyons, because off rip, it was, I forgot which powwow it was. The first time Kevin Lyons came to powwow, we didn't even know each other. And he had a talk with, what's his name?
Was it Jeff Staple?
Jeff Staple. And as I'm walking into the interview, like into the building, someone had asked him a question. What do you think about, the Hawaii and, the art scene here and stuff like that? Out of nowhere, he just came out and said, dude, there's a guy, Angry Robot. He's from Hawaii. Like,
shut up.
I hella dig his work. I mean, he just gave me mad love, and we didn't even know each other yet.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I knew his work, but I didn't know
his history.
His history, his design history, his hip hop history, like everything about him, you know what I mean? And so after painting with him, just over the years getting to know him, and the hip hop starts oozing out, you know, like we say references, either it be about like EPMD or Wu-Tang or, and I'd bug out, he would say something or a quote from a hip hop record, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what the fuck? So, after really linking with him and chopping with him, we ended up getting together, and we got to paint in Detroit.
Dope.
And Yeah, since we're so into hip hop and we can talk for hours about it, like it just became an ongoing thing where every time we kicked it or we hung out, I would hashtag the Boom Bap Kids. Because, you know, we would just pass stories or, damn, remember that one album? Oh, dude, I hella remember that album. You know, like it was one of those things, you know, and for a dude with that much knowledge and, you know, like to have that common bond, it was just awesome. So, you know, like the Boom Bap Kids came out of that. And then, you know, I've been painting panda bears for over 20 years now. So, you know, I go into my funk, but, you know, I cannot complain because it's a brand that has taken me all over the world.
Literally.
It got me to meet like all my heroes. I met everyone that I ever really wanted to meet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I've always been into Jim Henson and Fraggle Rock and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like all of us have. And I remember Carmen from Art, what is it called? Carmen throws those cool shows, those art shows at
at Titmouse.
Titmouse, yes. Shout out to Carmen. They had a really cool, I mean, I've always wanted to make a puppet. I just didn't know how to make it, you know what I mean? And Carmen had a really cool show called I forgot the name of the show, but it was pretty much like a hip hop Sesame Street kind of vibes. So everyone did like Sesame Street themed paintings or artwork. And I believe Josh Taylor, Paulie had bought a piece and it looked like a Fraggle Rock. It was not a puppet, but it was a Fraggle Rock it was a Fraggle that looked like Rakim. And it was called Fraggle Rakim.
Love it.
And Paul brought it home, and I was so jealous because I was just like, man, that's like the ultimate piece. I love that thing because, you know, I have a collection of hip-hop toys, and I was just like, man, that would look dope with all my shit, you know what I mean? And, you know, over the years, like I've always wanted to make a Muppet type of Muppet that resembled me, but after seeing that piece in person was the one that sparked it up where I was like, man, I know how to sew.
Yeah.
I should try and sew a puppet, you know what I mean? And I was back in 2019 and last January, I think.
Because
2019.
Because I don't think people know that you know how to sew, so much so that you made yourself a Quasimodo outfit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I used to, okay, y'all get it right. I was not a cosplayer. But in 2003, I made me an Ewok costume. Only because I always believed that Ewoks were Filipino bears.
Yes.
They talk like Filipinos. They talk like Southeast Asians, like Malaysians and Filipinos. But, you know, like I decided to make an Ewok in 2003 for Halloween, me and my girlfriend at the time. And I pulled it off. And, you know, my mom was just like, my mom was always into sewing. Even in high school, she'd make all her own shit. And then people would pay her to make gear for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In school. So, yeah, my mom's like, here's the sewing machine. I'll teach you how to lace it up. But other than that, I want you to like learn how to use it. So I taught myself how to use the sewing machine. I don't know how to make patterns. I don't know all that shit. But measurements, I suck at that. I eyeball everything. And if it's too big or too small, I just adjust it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Freestyle. So, yeah. So when I made my first puppet of myself, it took me like a few days. But I remember the night before I actually finished it. Actually, no, my puppet took one night. I just wanted to make it. So I just went in. And I remember Ming came in there and she goes, what are you doing? I was just like, I'm going to make a puppet. And she goes, the fuck? Like, kind of like, I could see it in her face, like, oh, okay. You know, like, sure. I didn't go to sleep. And the next morning, my puppet was created and it was sitting on the table in my studio room. And she was tripping. She's like, oh my God, you really make a puppet.
You were serious.
I was super serious. And yeah, so then, I was making music with Jose Mertz. Shout out to Jose Mertz in Miami. And we had already recorded a couple of tracks, and I do music for fun. It's not to like I'm not trying to make a SoundCloud page or, I'm not trying to blow up and try to perform or nothing. I just like making music. It's fun for me. You know what I mean?
You're a creative. It's another creative outlet.
Yeah. So, Jose was like, yo, I told Jose, yo, I'm going to make your puppet. We're going to shoot our video all in puppets. And he's like, no way. He was tripping, So I made his puppet and I took it to Art Basel. And dude, the feedback I got from it was just insane, And it always, that one always came up where people were like, dude, you should make a show. And I'd be like, oh, that'd be cool. Like, that's it. Like, that was the end of that conversation. I'd be like, oh, that would be dope. Yeah, that'd be cool. But in my head, I'm just like, I kind of like just doing these Instagram videos, these 15-second shout outs,
Yeah.
And it just was great feedback. And when I gave Jose his puppet, and then the next thing we're planning was Powwow. And everyone loved the puppet so much that I was like, "Fuck, we're gonna get Dragon and Saturnal in Hawaii. I have to make puppets for them." So I ended up making puppets for Saturnal and Dragon, and then I ended up making Kevin Lyons because in my head I'm like, "These are my homies." But Kevin Lyons was the original Boom Bap Kid.
Yeah, you had to.
So I was like,
you
I
had
have to make his puppet.
And his looks just like him. Like, I'll put a link of one of the pictures where he's holding his, like, where it's his puppet next to him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll put that because it looks just like it's him.
Totally.
It's so dope.
Totally. Yeah, and that puppet universe thing just all came together because while I was making his puppet, out the gate, Kevin goes, I was a puppeteer, right? I was like, this fool never surprises me.
Right?
He always has some shit, man.
You were like, what?
Yeah, and in the 90s, he played a Dominican puppet on MTV. Which is hilarious.
Because he's white as fuck.
I know. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I feel weird saying it now. But back then, it was just, because I knew everybody, it's hip-hop shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in these times, it's a little sensitive. But
it's a no-go. But back then, anything went.
Yeah. But he showed me clips. You can find it on YouTube, I think. And it's amazing.
Wow.
And just the fact that Kevin Lyons was actually a puppeteer.
Dude, full fucking circle.
You know who else was a puppeteer?
Who?
Slick.
What are you saying?
No lies. You gotta ask him.
What?
Holy shit. Yeah. Slick was a puppeteer.
Well, when I have him on, I will ask him.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
So, like, the puppets were so cool that Andrew was just like, hey, can you just put them in the show, the Think Space show?
Ah.
So they're on display at the Think Space show, the whole powwow, and people were loving it so much that I just kept on getting that question, are you making a show? And I had no idea to do that. Like, how would I get there? Everything, production and knowing the right people and having writers and all. I don't know all that shit.
Yeah.
So then while in Hawaii, we rocked this cool ass. On top of that, shout out to all the homies that I painted with, the whole squad, Hidden Fortress, fucking Keepers of the Funk. Like, this is just me super proud of the crew. Like,
yeah.
We had the sickest piece.
No doubt.
We guerrilla styled it. You know what I mean? Like Dragon, Saturnal, and Jose came off the strength of me, like the homie. Like, fuck it, just come to Hawaii, you know what I mean? Let's just paint. Like, I'll get the wall, you can jump on our wall, you know what I mean? And it was just a cool, like, just the feedback I got, it was really dope. So then when I came back home, because I was already working with Silent John, shout out to Silent John. Silent John came up to me, and I guess while I was in Hawaii, him and my other partner, Mike Steele, was already brainstorming, and they're like, yo, we need to hit a Woes and, try and do some crazy shit with what he's doing.
Oh, so so it's not like they were thinking about having a puppet show. They thought of it after seeing your shit and wanted to collaborate with you on it.
Well, because I was already working, because, Mike Steele is the owner of Lasonic boom boxes, and Silent John was already making beats for me. And we're already connecting on
got it. Oh, yeah. So
then these guys, like John was like, maybe we should shoot a hip hop video. And I'm like, I'm down, dude. I'm down to shoot videos with these puppets. So, John, he's hella resourceful and he's smart as shit. So, like, he came up to me, and what was cool about it is it wasn't like he came up to me and was like, dude, we should shoot a video. Can you make me a puppet? Yeah. John was more like, yo, can you teach me how to make a puppet? On some Bushido shit. Like, teach me the ways. Like,
teach me the ways.
I want to make my own. I want to make my own puppet, And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And during that time, the pandemic had just popped off. So, like,
so we're talking about almost a year ago now, because we're Feb, at almost the end of Feb.
Yeah.
And the pandemic hit around
I created the
March.
First puppet a little bit before a year. But then this whole thing, like the puppet thing, started taking off within the pandemic year and the fucked up Trump year. But that's what was cool about it, because it was like a funny, chill pandemic project that was a blessing. You know what I mean? And it almost goes along the line with my car accident, because, I got the car accident, boom, I'm locked up in a box. I can't go nowhere. I just have to be creative. I have to find out a way to make shit. You know what I mean?
That's real.
So with these guys, they had a studio not too far from Anaheim. So I ended up kicking it over there, and I taught both of them how to build puppets.
Oh, so that studio was already on lock. Like, that was theirs.
Yeah. That was the home of Mike Steele and Sonic Audio. So it ended up becoming Boom Bap Kids Studio, So what's nuts about it is John, who was the DJ, he was KRS's DJ for, I think, Paid Dues Tour.
So the teacher.
Yeah. So he was already doing shit, like, and he's making beats for people for a while, different people. And Mike, he had a fucking DJ radio show in San Diego for like 13 years or something. So all these guys, they're already our network together combined.
Yeah. The reach alone.
It was just a perfect pot of soup. The ingredients was just right there. And then we had J-Ski One as our first DJ guest. He's shout out to J-Ski, and he's been a DJ for DP Sound and the Bridges parties and all that stuff way back. So he came on our show, and he was having so much fun that he never left. Like, this is too fun, man. So he would come and help us operate, like puppets and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, his rite of passage is, well, you got to make your own puppet now. So we taught him how to make a puppet. It took him forever, but he made his own puppet. And, the Boom Bap Kids, all of us individually were already trying to think about doing the Twitch thing,
Yeah.
For me, it would be my adventures as becoming a better DJ, like my path as becoming a DJ, like just for fun. It's on some like kata, like some dojo shit. Like, I just want to learn how to become a good DJ, because all my friends kill it. And why not? My friends pass me music and they have ill selection. So,
yeah,
so it's easy. So, like with that, it's like the idea of doing Twitch, John was like, dude, what if we DJ as a puppet? I'm just like, yo, if we can figure that out,
it's on.
It'd be insane. So then, we brainstormed. We had some trials and tribulations before we even went on live. And the first time we went live as John as a puppet pulling it off, it was like,
It
the
was like
invention of the wheel for us.
it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Like I've
Totally.
seen from you guys the beginning. What month was that you guys got on Twitch for the first time? Was it like fall?
It was in.
I don't know. Time during the pandemic is weird.
Dude, I know that. It's funny because I can look at the timestamps. You know what I mean? But I think the first time we actually went live was. Wait.
End of summer?
April? Must have been April.
Oh, that early. Oh, so really a year.
Yeah, really a year.
Yeah, because like I remember you guys started and it was like I could see some people watching it, but the numbers have grown. Like you have all kinds of like I'm gonna have a link to that because if you guys haven't, and I've been telling everybody and their mother, I've been like, especially like true hip hop heads, love this shit, and you guys have been getting so much stuff. So I'm gonna have a link to their Insta and their Twitch. You have to go on. One of my you guys have like amazing different types of DJs, and I like that it's not just all male. You really rep as a space for the ladies and have some dope people on there as well.
Yeah.
You had Mona Lisa on. She was our episode 14 guest here on Word to Your Mama, and so she was on. I mean, it just have amazing guests, but one of my all-time favorites, like I try to get on as whenever I can, right? But one of my all-time favorites, when you gave me the hookup, you gave me like the insight, like, you know, you're like, yo, we're going to do this special thing no one knows. And it was Sleazy B.
Oh, yeah.
Like he gave me like the heads up, like, yo, check this out. We're going to do this. And you showed me the puppet.
Because I know that's your shit.
Always looking out. So you showed me the puppet, like you're texting me, and it's fucking.
Was that your first show seeing?
No.
Okay.
No. I had seen a bunch before, but that was like next when I was like, oh, these motherfuckers are next level because it was a puppet that looked like Stevie B.
Yeah, and I had the rayon shirt with the bolo tie, and I had a mullet.
It was the best shit. And then during the live thing that's when you figured out what the actual name was gonna be with the chat and stuff. And I was like, I was texting everybody. I was like, oh my God, we were dying, and I was like, this is the best shit ever. So like, just the hip hop shit is good, but then like people don't understand the level of creativity. So you got a green screen. It's either a real person or one of you guys like puppet who are spinning, and then you act like this amazing like MC, like you're like shouting out motherfuckers in the chat. You know, talking about like you keep the party going, like this flow going, right? But then
we sing along and stuff.
Yeah, singing along, and like all you motherfuckers know all the fucking words. The puppets know all the the people handling the puppets know all the fucking words. But also like the things that everything's purposeful. Like everything you have on the turntables has to go with like the music, like. Or the theme, like you have like a Teddy Ruxpin and shit. But like one of the other next level ones was, I forget his name, but you guys were like Copy Matt. You guys are like,
oh, it was. We did. Dude, shout out to the homie Sonny James. He's an amazing DJ.
yes.
And we did. We did Dave Chappelle's.
Dave Chappelle, Copy Matt.
Yeah, so we all wore the costumes.
It was so good.
We created the costumes for each character, and then we had the background. It was like we were working there, and it went down straight to the doo-doo butter. We had doo-doo butter.
You had doo-doo butter right there. And then what was also dope is, what was the DJ's name?
Sonny James.
And he would say shit into the mic like, such and such coming to like shit from the show. Like you guys were like saying lines and shit, and like it was just.
Oh yeah.
It was so
totally.
good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys were all in character. The props were on point, you know, down to that shit. I mean,
once we figured out, when we came up with the themes, once we figured that out, it was even more fun. Because if you came down to the studio and see us work, we're running all over the place.
I bet.
Put this in there. Oh, then and we're freestyling a lot of it too. And, you know, like, Sonny James came a second time. Oh, no. Not Sonny James. Mad Skills came. after seeing the Sonny James show, we had Mad Skills on, and we did Target.
Oh
So
man, I missed that one.
so Mad, I can send it to you. But
Yeah.
yeah, Mad Skills. Any of the videos you want, I can send it to you. You
Sweet.
can just
Yes.
have it. But yeah, like Mad Skills was like working the counter in Target, and we were like his coworkers on aisle 5. And he kept on saying, "Dude, we're gonna get fired for this." So, like, it was so good. It was so
Like
fucking good.
everyone's in character. Like, oh, that's amazing. That's what I loved about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And then he would do this thing where we're all nodding our heads, and he goes, "You guys ready for a break?" And we'd be like, "Yeah, let's get a break on." And then he goes, 1, 2, 3, break. And then we would all pause. The music would stop and everything, and everyone would just be staring at us, and we'd be stuck. And then he'll go, "Okay, we back on," and then we start nodding our head. It was,
good.
dude, and just that it was skills, man. He's, you know, like, it's insane, dude.
That's
Like,
crazy.
so bugged out.
Boom bap, boom bap, boom bap, original rap. 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 Boom bap, boom bap, original rap.
And that's the thing with Boom Bap Kids, and even with the Twitch community and DJs, it's bringing the culture back to fun again.
Yes.
And DJs that, you know, like a lot of veteran DJs here, like now they get to play what they want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you get to the club and they're like, okay, well, this is the kind of crowd we're gonna have, so, you know, we need these hits. You know.
Yeah.
Now they can be open format and go across the board. You know,
Yeah,
they can play
whatever
some
the
old
fuck they want.
70s to like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what's even more fun because, you know, after the DJs get off the show, they're just like, man, that was so much fun. You know, like I never got to play Blowed in a long time. You know, like
Yeah.
some Freestyle Fellowship or some Ganja K or, you know, like some really underground shit sometimes. And people are like, damn. And, you know, and people in the chat too, they're just kind of like, yeah, I never watched this or heard this in a long time.
Yeah, that's real. Like it takes you back to the like going to the show. For me, it takes me back to like going to the shows, driving up from because I went to Long Beach State, so like driving up to LA to the shows and stuff like the Bigger Bees and you know all the stuff that, all those shows, and it's like good times, dude. Like and the community, like it's like. You know, and you and I remember we had like that phone call early on. We were like trying to figure out Twitch. We're like, I think you gotta. Remember you and I were like,
my God,
I think,
dude,
but like
that's
we
for
were
real.
just learning.
Yeah.
But you knew more because you guys were trying to figure it out. So I was like, and then what is this? And then like, it's fascinating. And then during one of I think I was talking with Mona Lisa too. We were talking about Twitch as well, and I was saying like, I think it was like one of the boom baps. I think I was like on it, and then like I was like, I don't know what this button's for. I don't know what this means. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does this keep popping up? And then like someone gave me something, like, you know, and I was like, what is that? You know, I love it because it's learning new shit, but then the payoff is like you guys spinning, you know, the beat junkies, you know, like Timbaland on there. I listen to when I work. When I'm pushing pixels and I'm working in that realm, I like to listen to like lo-fi beats or like Apollo Brown beats, like shit, like harder shit. Or lately, I listen to. I think I told you too. If I get a notification that Kenny Beats is on Twitch, then I just go on there because he'll like be having all kinds of shit done, or he'll just be making a beat live. And I work to that, like him just making a beat, you know, and it's just I learn so much, and it's like, I don't know, it's the community, and I think that's what had been missing from hip hop is like that return to community, and you guys are helping to bring that back, you know.
Dude, thank you.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, like even when shows were going on, and even if we go to LA and we go check out Z Trip or whatever, it's so informal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we got to see him, but he's on stage and we're like, yo,
Yeah.
but we're in a crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's like people engage each other. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what's crazy about Boom Bap Kids is because, for one, I've always been like, since I was a little kid, like into rapping, like I love writing, I love emceeing or whatever. And, even my short stint in Hawaii doing shows and stuff, like I've always, in my head, I always like, man, this would be cool. Like even doing those small shows, I did my small shows, like open for like Souls and Mischief or Rhyme
Yeah.
Sayers or, Freestyle Fellowship like that. But, it's like a juice, you local. Yeah. So, it was dope to do, but in my head, I'm just like, I'm just local. This is just for fun, And
Yeah.
my partner, Omega 6, was always super ill, and people always reached for him, like out of the crew, he was the one that always got asked to do shit, because he was nasty.
Yeah.
So it's just funny, like, even though I felt back in the day like I never got to get to that point in my life where I just wanted to be like a well-known, like hip hop,
Yeah.
kind of person or whatever. Just the art career itself, being a painter and, being a dancer and just always being involved in hip hop culture. Like, it still got me there, even though I wasn't like an act, like a MC act
Yeah.
or whatever. Like I became homies with some of these people, and it's amazing. That
Yeah.
dynamics is amazing.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. All the creative shit that you've done in your life have gotten you here, and now you have something that you're talking about, like, oh, for the culture, you're what you guys are fucking doing, and I can't wait till when it's safe for us, because we're in Palm Springs, for
Yeah,
us
yeah,
to
yeah.
go, like, to see it with the green screen, and like I've seen pictures or video of it, like with just the behind the
Oh
scenes,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
BTS,
for
but
sure.
like to be there and see you guys in action live, like that's what I want to do. That's what the
Oh, dude,
Supernatural
I
Bear
want
wants
y'all,
to
dude.
like.
Every time someone comes on the show, I'm stoked because I'm a fan of a lot of these guys, and I'm also meeting a lot of OG LA DJs that I didn't know about. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
DJ community is deep. You know what I
In
mean?
LA, psh,
Yeah.
the hip hop, the people, like, that's why, like, on here on Word to Your Mama, like, that's one of the things that has organically, I just forgot about it. Like, that's what it's organically happening. Like, I've had like Rachel Ramis on, and we talk about rap life during those times and get that perspective. Mona Lisa, right? Like, I'm gonna have Carmelita on from the Wake Up Show. I'm gonna have, like,
Nice.
so I'm gonna have females on from rap life, hip hop history here, but
There you go.
also dudes, like, from all walks
Yeah,
of
yeah.
life that put on the shows, that were on in the shows, that like, that's a major thing that I didn't forget, but you kind of, how you go through life, you kind of forget that it's just in
Oh
you.
yeah.
It's just a part of you that you forget, like, oh, we got mad stories. People want to hear their mad story, like crazy stories of how deep and how
Yes.
rich the hip hop scene in in LA is. And
Yeah, yeah,
like you
yeah.
mentioned, like, that DJs were like, yo, I get to play Blowed, like Project Blowed and stuff like that. Have you seen, I haven't finished it, but there's I don't know, I might have sent it to you.
Documentary.
The Ava one
Yes.
about it.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It's
The only one I
crazy.
saw
Like,
was by Homegirl that did the Good Life one. Yeah, 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 yeah. Which
yeah.
I later found out that was Homegirl from Project Blow, which is crazy. What the fuck?
Yeah. So it's
That just
crazy.
shows, like, I always get in those conversations where, the cliche phrase comes up where people say, like that phrase that hip hop saved their life.
I say
That's
that shit
just,
all the fucking time.
that's just for real.
It's
That shit is for
real.
real, you know what I mean? And it shows in a lot of homies, there's people like Cross One, there's,
Please believe it.
like, there's just, people that's been in hip hop that it became their life and their career, and it's dope, you know what I mean? Artson, like a bunch of people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's, when I talk about what the purpose of this podcast is, it's like talking about me being Latina, of color, da 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 da, but also like building my tribe, and it's all connected with, we're all somehow connected because of hip hop.
Hip hop. Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? It brings people together. And I love, if I go to your guys' Twitch and I'm on there and then like I see like some old school homies that in the chat and I'll be like,
The
hey,
chat is
you know what I'm
crazy.
saying? Like, see, Mechadon Celos and da-da-da. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah.
like respect and love. And it's like, of course you're there because of the community, but because it's quality shit. And I
Mm-hmm.
told you before, like, there's, often imitated, never duplicated. Like people they can try to come for you guys and try to duplicate what you do, but they don't got the essence or the love or the passion. And it just, you can tell it's transparent
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
just trying to do it just to do it. But if you're doing
Yeah,
it because
yeah.
of the love, people feel that shit. And to
Totally.
happen during a pandemic, we needed that shit.
Yeah.
So
There
thank
has
you.
been a rise. There's a hell of fuckers coming out the gate with it.
Yeah.
You know what I
And they're
mean?
not good. Remember that time I got on Homeboy their
Oh
Instagram?
yeah, dude, thanks for that. All the homies were stoked. They're like, "Damn!"
I don't give a fuck. I was like, nah, like you can't bite, dude. Like,
Totally.
so
Yeah, that's such a big rule. But there is. You know what's crazy about it? Like, yeah, and we never came off like that. We never came out and said we're the only hip
of
hop
course,
fucking
of
puppet
course,
show.
of course.
Nah, we just wanted to do it. It's for fun, And
Yeah.
and if you dig hashtag puppets, there's been a community of puppets, but a lot of them are, really, it's like lamb chop type stuff, like, like,
If you
you
don't
know
know
what I
lamb
mean?
chop,
Like,
look lamb chop up.
it's like really sweet and like
Yeah.
a craft style, like
Yeah. Yeah.
people that do like craft booking and stuff
Yeah.
like that kind of
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
But and now you start seeing like the hip hop heads shining, and we get hit up all the time to make puppets for people, but we don't. Even if we do create a puppet of someone you guys recognize, they don't leave the studio. They become part of the cast.
Yeah. The
You know what I
world,
mean?
the universe of Boom Bap
Yeah, yeah,
Kids.
yeah, yeah. So we don't produce puppets to sell or whatever. Even though people hit us up, it's just like for the show. It's for the community. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
for the culture, and I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Like, thank you to the whole entire crew, man. Like, it's been great, and to see you guys evolve, and to see those numbers,
it's
go from like
crazy.
20 something to like what you guys have now, and people doing what's that shit called when they
The emotes.
no,
No.
they're done with their Twitch, but they send them your people,
Oh, they
their people.
raid. They
The
raid.
raids, like the
Yeah, yeah,
raids
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit, like that's love. It's all love, and I
Yeah.
love that shit. So kudos to Boom Bap Kids. I'll have all the links to
Shout out.
that. But yeah, like I said, I knew it was going to be a discussion of hip hop because it's such a big part of our lives, and then
For
it
sure.
leads all that shit we talked about led you to this point. So it's hip hop, it's creative. You know what I'm saying? You're the
Mm-hmm.
MC, like you get to be like usually the MC, of the situation. You guys are like just having fun.
It's fun, and like it's crazy. So when we were executing it, and because like the original idea was I was just gonna redo videos.
Yeah.
There's the bugging out, Trap Call Quest bugging out. There's the
Oh yeah.
nonce. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just fun because it's more geared to cats that are our age. I want people to see it and be like, "What the fuck? Holy shit!" Because we all grew up on Muppets and hip hop. You know what I mean? That was like that was our Saturday mornings or whatever. You
Please
know what I mean?
believe it.
And what's dope about it and what draws people in, it's that. It's like cats my age that stumble upon it and be like, whoa. And you'll see it in the chat. You'll see someone come in there with their homies. And that's what I say Twitch is. Twitch is like a huge fucking warehouse party.
Yes.
And we're just going room to room, and you go in one room, you see somebody and they're like, oh, I just saw you in the Beat Junkie room. I was like, oh yeah, what's up,
Yeah,
dude? And like,
for
it's
sure.
the same thing. So it's like, when we see those groups come in and there's that first initial what the fuck, because there's always that what the fuck.
Yeah.
Like someone's in there like, what the hell am I watching? And then,
But then they
10
turn.
minutes later,
I
they turn.
see it in the feed. They're like, this is the best thing ever. Or like,
Ever.
this is bringing me so much joy. Because that's exactly what you do. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
Boom
yeah.
Bap Kids does. You guys bring the motherfucking joy, and especially during the trash administration, during
Oh
all the shit
man.
we were going through in a pandemic, the uprising, all that shit, to
Yep.
have something that you could see live that's not scripted, that's just you
Yeah,
feel the
yeah, yeah.
fucking love. I was just like, yes.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It's the
Yeah, it's
joy.
not.
You
It's
brought
just,
the joy.
and it's just mad fun. Like we're all in our 40s, and now
40s is the new 30s.
we're puppeteers now. I'm a puppeteer. Yo, shout out to Kevin. I'm a puppeteer like you, dude. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool because another thing is, cats my age, and we all have homies that, like you said earlier, not fell off, but they grew out of it.
Yeah.
They not actually grew out of hip hop, but they grew out of that love of digging for new music.
Mm-hmm.
They grew out of that love to actually be pulled into watching a b-boy battle or
Yeah. Or like
seeing
they're
new
not up on the
music.
latest. Like they just kind of like
Yeah.
let life take them, out
Totally.
of
And a
it.
lot of them are bitter too. A lot of them are like, man, ain't shit out. I'm like, dude, you gotta look.
That's
There's
what I'm
fucking hella
saying.
shit out. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing I also say on almost every episode on here is that I don't want to be those dudes, and some people
A lot.
or girls, they're like,
Yeah.
nah, fuck hip hop nowadays, like, and they only listen to like shit from way back, and they're like, that's it. Like that's
That's
the
it.
end all
Yeah.
be all. And it's like, dude, you gotta evolve. Like there's some good quality shit
But
from
you know
younger
what's funny? A
cats.
lot of those cats, they listen to old shit, but just certain old shit. Because
Yeah.
then they'll come on the show and they'll hear some old shit and be like, holy fuck, I haven't listened to this forever. This is fire. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what do you mean you haven't listened to this? It's on my it's on my Alexa every fucking day.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like I'm singing
Yeah.
along, you know what I mean?
You gotta
So
evolve. Like if you love music, and I think that's what happens. It's something that brings you joy, and you can let life take over to where you're not doing something that brings you that much joy. Like if you used to totally be into music, and
Yeah.
you're adulting. I get it. You don't have as much time to be
Totally.
up on everything, but listen to old shit. Listen to some new shit. Like listen, especially with all these streaming things. Like it's
Yeah.
so like I get put on so
Dude,
much shit. Spotify knows me. Spotify,
Yes.
oh word, you like this?
See?
Oh, you're gonna like this. I was like, how do you know Spotify?
Exactly.
You know me
They
well.
put in you can give them one suggestion and have them build off of that one suggestion.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, here you are. Here's you in a package from back in the days. And I'm like, that is me, Spotify.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh,
totally.
you like this? Maybe you like this. And I'm like,
This.
yes.
I love that.
Yeah,
Totally.
like the algorithm or whatever they're doing is on point, and that's why I don't pay for anyone else. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like forever I was like, I'm not gonna pay for this. I'll do the free 3 months thing. But now I don't give a fuck. I pay for it because they're the
For
best.
sure.
Their
Yeah,
algorithms are the
same.
best. They have a little bit more obscure people. Their playlists
Yeah.
that I need are on point.
And you could share it with people. I love that.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
great.
mean?
It's fantastic.
I use Spotify in that same instance, but I'm also one of those people that like to buy all my music. So
Oh.
I'll hear something dope on Spotify, and then I'll go to Bandcamp or I'll go to fucking Amazon and I'll find it, because I
buy
like
it.
to spin it. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
so
that's different. Yeah, so you got to spin it, and also to support. Sometimes it depends on who. If I know them or I really wanted to support them, like I'll probably never listen to it that way, but just do it off a stream. But you buy it on the
Totally, man.
strength. Like, oh, they just
Yeah,
released
yeah, yeah,
something, and because that we all know, and and it sucks, but we all know that the artists get like 0.00 pennies on the streams.
yeah,
But so this is another way to try to support or whatever.
totally.
Okay, so
Okay.
at the end, I have the the not so rapid fire questions, aka the slow as hell questions. But before we get into that, we have a couple of more questions from the audience. So when
Okay.
I know depending on certain people, I go around and I ask people that know them or might know them, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna have such and such on this day. What are some questions? I already asked you your nephew, the Supernatural Bears question.
Yep.
He has a special segment that's right after this. It's called the Supernatural Bear Corner, and he'll do a little special thing for you. So when you listen to this,
So-
make sure to listen to that. He loves Uncle
Okay.
Woes. Also, it's funny that he used to get you and his Uncle BABU mixed up.
That is so funny because I had a conversation with Redmatic, and he used to always, or even now, he'll get mixed up. People mix them up, you know. But I have this crazy story when I went to Bogota, Colombia, and I'm it's not TSA, but their security or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going through their security, right? And this guy is just smiling at me. He's at the end of security, and he rolls up on me, and he's like, "Hey, man," and I'm like, "What up, dude?" He's like, "Hey, you think I can get a picture with you?" So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, this guy knows my work."
Yeah,
You know, he
yeah.
thinks he likes my paintings. This is dope. You know, in fucking Bogota, hell yeah, I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
So I take a picture with him, and as I shake his hand, and as I'm walking away, the guy goes, "Who was that, man?" And he goes, "Dude, that was fucking DJ BABU from the Beach on Geese." I was like, "No."
Hilarious.
Yeah, I told Redmatic that story. He was rolling. He goes, "Dude, that shit happened to me all the time." I was like, "Yeah, but me, like, what the fuck, man? I'm in like fucking Bogota, Colombia, and
That's
someone mistake me from Babu."
that's fucking amazing.
But I was just like evenly happy because I was just like, "Dude, that's kind of cool. I got
Yeah.
recognized for fucking Babu."
And then I wish we could have a camera so we could see when he's showing people and someone says, "That's not motherfucking DJ BABU."
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. Like, I wonder if he tagged them or like, posted it up and then tagged them
Oh,
and
that would have
deleted
been
it.
hilarious.
But yeah, that
Hilarious.
was a really good, funny story with that. That shit's hilarious.
Okay, let's get into these questions from the audience. First up,
Okay.
we have one from Hyperactive Monkey, Jerome Lou. I call him
Oh,
Now,
word.
like Now Jerome. He was our guest on episode 13. Check him out. He said, "Woes, I've seen that you travel frequently all over the world to paint. How have you adjusted your workflow this past year with the pandemic?"
Man, with the pandemic and my normal workflow, like I actually lost 3 major jobs before the pandemic. And I was
Yeah.
really looking forward to one, which was a trip to Jordan.
That would have been dope.
Oh my God. I wanted to see the ruins and Petra and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, actually it got canceled out. And, the story with that, Richie knows. And, like when the pandemic hit, shout out to Paulie. He ended up getting a new house. He got married and, he got a new spot. And then me and Ming had to get our own place. And we found a place. And then the pandemic hit.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't get the place. So we were kind of, in limbo for a little bit. We didn't know what to do, and then a homie fucking let us stay with him for a couple months. And that's when the Boom Bap Kids started popping off. But at that point, like Ming lost her job. I lost all my jobs. And, I was really depending on those travel jobs because those travel jobs would have set me up for 2 years at least.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had to see what to do. And, like, luckily Ming, I'm so bad at like adulting. So, Ming was really good at fucking getting me that unemployment and all that paperwork and setting up, and I know some of you homies out there that are bad, just as bad as me as adulting. Like, I know a lot of you guys could have got some shit, like to help you over,
Dude,
man,
that
for real.
EDD, let me say, I'm not ashamed. That
Oh, no.
EDD saved
Yeah.
my ass because you work traveling, I work with live music and
Yeah.
live events. The music, like we're all music related, live music related or
Yeah.
live event related, and a lot of travel involved and large groups. That shit was wiped the fuck out. We were supposed to
Yeah.
have one of the biggest years on all
See.
fronts in 2020.
See? Yeah.
So that EDD, I was like, I can get that shit.
Mhm.
Please believe it. And that shit
Yeah.
saved us. That was first.
A lot of homies were like, "Oh no, I didn't." I'm like, "Dude, what are you guys doing, bro?"
Left money
Like,
on the motherfucking table. That's what they did.
dude, it fed us and everything, So,
Yeah.
Eventually Ming got a job back, which was cool. And fortunately, I still have cool clients and people started picking up and buying artwork and stuff. So, things are still cool. And having this Boom Bap Kids thing, it's like now I'm kind of like, looking towards that. Like we're trying to perfect that and trying to
focus
have
on
things
that.
focus on that. But
Yeah.
I still do a lot of commissions now and stuff. But I mean, it's still hard. You know what I mean? It's being an artist is hard as shit. But yeah, one love, Jerome. That's the homie JL right there.
He has another question, but you don't have to answer if you don't want to. He's like,
Okay.
why do you call Ming Transformer butt?
Well, it's because Ming's actually, she's just an 80s toys head, She loves, that's a fun fact about Ming, like people don't know. It's like, even though she's younger than me, her 80s toy collection is insane. It ranges from like He-Man to Transformers, Nintendo, Mask. Like she's across the board with that shit. You know what I mean? So,
are you guys excited about the new He-Man that Kevin Smith is putting together that's coming out soon?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to check it out for sure. You know what
I mean? Okay, so you answered transfer. Shout out to Ming. This one comes from our episode 6 guest, Kano. He said, Woes, ask him if he has Yeezy in Serato.
I actually don't have it easy. If I have just to be 100.
Yeah.
If I do have any Kanye, it's because of like
projection.
Huh?
Projection.
Another rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, dude, I mean, I can't front, dude. Kanye got fire beats on some of these tracks.
Please believe
you can't
it.
Front it.
You can't
He's fucking talented. He's talented as shit.
Yeah, you can't. Never can be taken away from him for sure.
But I do not own one pair of Yeezys. Never ever wanted to.
Yeah. Stay true in that form.
But another fact is, our squad alone never play Kanye on our shit. People do here and there, but we're not going to tell them not to.
Yeah, you mean the guest DJs might.
They might, yeah.
But you guys, as Boom Bap Kids, the crew, when you guys spin, nah. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
We don't. Nah.
Also from Kano, he said, I heard he ties his shoelaces without bending his knees. Is it true?
What the fuck? Kano's fucking Nardwar.
Boop, boop, doop, doop. Boop, boop.
That's funny. Most times, I'll just bend over and fucking tie my shoe. I don't like to do the knee thing, like knee on the ground thing. I don't know why. That's always how I've been since a kid. Or I do put my leg up. If I bend my legs, it's because I put my leg onto something, like a bench or something. That's fucking funny. Like, how the fuck did Kano know that shit? You know what's funny? I was gonna mock Kano and do Trader Joe pick runs
with the puppet, just the puppets. Please do that.
Yeah, because I have a shit ton of J's for the puppets. I'm just gonna
You should please do that. Because me, the Herschel boys from our old podcast. Sketch, Shane, and Kano. We talk almost daily, and we give him so much shit for that, and he takes it. It's funny. We're just like, where's the crate of peaches by Trader Joe's? Like, you should do that. Would be amazing.
He's I get it. He found a way to flex his J's. You know what I mean? Because I know Kano got mad J's.
No, but also you might have not heard his episode, and like one thing that I want to touch upon just a little bit is he had a health situation and he had to change the way he ate. So he's lost mad weight. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't eat sugar or all this different shit because it came down to some real shit. And I know for you, you also have to deal with that. It's part of genetics or it's just part of age or whatever. But it's like,
totally.
You can't fuck around. And, and I think especially because we are of color, more people the kids need to hear this. Even people our age and older need to hear this. Like,
they need to take care of themselves.
You need to take care of your shit. Health is wealth. Okay, let's go to our next question. This comes from our episode 14 guest, Mona Lisa.
Word up.
Of all the things you've made, what's your favorite creation and why?
Damn, that's actually a really good.
I know.
Really good question. Probably my puppet.
Yeah.
For sure.
Puppet
I
or
mean,
your Quasimodo?
Quasimodo. Oh, the yellow Quasimodo
Yeah.
suit that Raka took me backstage in, which
That's a
was
moment. That's a moment.
that was crazy because I met a bunch of people, not as Aaron,
As some dude
as
in a homemade Quasimodo, like that's amazing.
I met people as Quasi. I had a smile in the fucking mask from ear to ear, but no one saw it. You know, I'm just giving people daps, like, what up, you know? But yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I would say Panda too, because Painting the Panda took me everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yes. And we're talking about everywhere. And also, we met that's awesome that we met at a Biz that's fitting that we met at a Biz
Yeah,
Markie, right? Like a Biz
that
Markie
is
spinning show.
totally.
But also we became closer, and I feel that's when we became brother and sister, like family, because of the trip we made. And I'll have a link to
Yes.
the movie. Pate live shout out to the entire
Yep.
crew. I haven't seen it with the new music. But you guys can rent it and buy it or whatever. And it's a documentary of when we went to Thailand,
Yes.
Hong Kong, Singapore, and then we ended up going to
Philippines.
the Philippines. We were like, Art Basel came home real quick, raised money,
Yep.
went out, and changed our lives. We worked with refugee kids.
Okay.
It was like fucking life changing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, okay, so as far as not really creation or creating something, but that trip, as far as it goes for my career in art and stuff, that was like the heaviest, the coolest, and the most amazing thing I've done in my life, for sure.
For sure. Like
Hell yeah.
I feel like it changed, like it changed us on a cellular level. Like we went through the fucking thing in WandaVision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Totally. We went in the dome.
We went in the fucking dome. Like it changed Rambo at a cellular level. This trip to get geeky like this, because today is Thursday. I'm gonna stay up till late to watch it.
Yeah.
We have
Totally.
two episodes left.
Left. Yeah.
It changed us on that cellular level. Like it changed our lives, and we became like, because we came out different people, and we came out together as different people.
Yes.
And it was such an amazing experience, and that's like the last major travel I had because then I had the Supernatural Bear. But then you and Purge J-Ru got to keep, because of that, all the connections that were made.
Yeah.
In that part of the world, it just
Hell yeah.
made
Asia?
it opened up Asia to you guys, and it was just a beautiful thing, man. And
Totally.
I think about those kids a lot.
I know. Some of it makes me bummed because like
you don't know if they
where
made
they
it.
go. Yeah, you don't know if
we
they
worked
made
with
it,
these
for sure.
kids, and they were saved from Burma because it was at Mesa, the Burmese
Dictator.
Thailand border, and a lot of were sex trafficked, and they were like, they're just
they're
like
sex traffic refugees, right?
refugee orphan kids, and we got
Orphan
to
kids, yeah.
for 2 weeks ride bikes to and fro. I was saying, like, I miss riding the bikes to and from work.
Yes.
And we're with Sherio and Yayak. That's when
dude, the smiles on them kids.
the kids, man, just like.
That's why I feel bad, because I know, like, once we bounced, a lot of those kids are like, man, that was fun. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. I know, man. A lot of tears on that trip. And you can catch a lot of tears. There's 2 documentaries. There's Paint Life, and there's the Little Lotus Project one. I'll have a link to that one too.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of tears. You get to see like the whole crew and the setting up of everything. I mean, it was really dope. But okay, so that's one of your favorite things. Is also
that we did,
that.
yeah.
Do you want to support original content that supports diverse voices? Why not support Word to Your Mama? You're listening to it right now. Become a patron. Head over to patreon.com/WTYM. There are 4 patron levels to choose from, including Good Looking Out, I'm Down, Hell Yeah, and Please Believe It. Benefits include patron shoutouts, exclusive patron-only content, and so much more. Head on over to patreon.com/WTYM to take your support to the next level. Gracias. Okay,
Yeah.
so the next really good questions come from someone that I love, Raka.
Word up.
Fam. He's fam to us, fam to you.
Totally. Yeah.
First question. What's the first Hawaiian hip hop song that you remember?
Hip hop song, like when
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah, Hawaiian hip hop song that came from Hawaii.
That's so funny because there was a
Was it
a
you?
comedy. It was a comedy group
Oh, really?
called Three Local Boys. Yeah, and it was.
Were they
I
good?
forgot. I mean, I was a little kid, and they was just trying to rap like on some funny shit. You know, they rapped about musubis and island life. It was like,
Yeah.
it was a comedy. It was a
Yeah,
comedy
got
rap
it.
album. But that was my first experience of them trying to rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that
And
was.
it
So
was.
how old were you? Do you think elementary school age or?
I think I was in sixth grade, actually.
Oh, okay.
Right before junior high. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was there was other rap cats, I think, in Hawaii, but I didn't really pay attention to them, you know, because during that time when I was really getting like the beginning at like getting into hip hop, I was all about like Run DMC, Fat Boys, Houdini.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
Like I was like, if I heard anything else, especially if it was coming from my island, I was like, man,
You're like,
just
that's
generic.
local.
Yeah.
You juiced them.
local.
That's local.
Yeah. That's the term now. We juiced them.
You juiced
But,
them. That's a new move.
but yeah. I mean, shout out to Lanai. He's a comedy dude I know from Hawaii. But yeah, I think he was part of that too.
That's cool.
I think it was just my homie Ryan, Lanai, and this guy named Augie T. And yeah, it was funny because they would rap about funny shit about Hawaii and, you know, Hawaii food and just
Local
being on
life.
the island.
That's cool.
Yeah, you know, and there was another group called I forgot the name, but they did a song called Sweet Okole.
What's
which means
Okole
sweet
mean?
ass. I'll send you a link. But it
Yes,
was
please.
totally wannabe New Jack style, but it was Hawaii. And
Oh
it had
my
like
God.
lowrider trucks and girls and dudes in overalls trying to, you know, and you know,
I
the
cannot
illest
wait.
move back then in hip hop during that time was a backflip. So I think you see a guy do a couple backflips.
That's major. That was it.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, that was one of the first groups. You know, well, I mean, Hawaii got dope hip hop straight up now, but yeah.
But
As a kid.
the first memory. Okay, the next question is, what's the first Hawaiian graffiti piece or character that you remember seeing?
When I was a kid, I must have been in fifth grade. There was a huge war in my city. I grew up in a little town called Kalihi, and the Crips and the Bloods were planning like a huge fight. You know
Like a
what I mean?
rumble?
They called it like a rumble.
Wow.
And on the gymnasium, and it was amazing to me because, you know, we live in Hawaii and this is the 80s.
Yeah.
And this was in 1988, I think. Someone did World War III on the gymnasium, and it said World War III, and then behind war was the Garbage Pail Kid with the fucking
Yes,
with
the head exploding.
Yeah, that was my first
That's major.
neighborhood graffiti I seen, and I remember looking at that and I'm like, yo, and you know, at that time I was already fascinated with Beach Street.
Yeah.
And you know, that book came out, Spray Can Art, Henry Chaffant and stuff. So that time I already had that book too. I was biting all the shit in that book, tracing shit as a kid, you know what I mean? So that book and that piece that was on the high school gymnasium was a big part of my life. Like thinking back, like
that's
that
amazing.
was the first graffiti.
That's a
shit
great
I seen.
concept. Just out the gate. That's a great concept. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
World War III
But I
and
was
have
just
the
a little
Garbage Pail Kid. Like,
yeah, totally. But I mean, a big part of my career too was like when I moved back to Hawaii as a junior in high school. And rest in peace to Phase 2. But he was spending a lot of time in Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he was a mentor to a lot of my homies. And I didn't know that until later because, I
Wow.
moved from Vegas.
Yeah.
But he was mentoring a lot of my homies in graph. And he had some pieces up. And I remember going to this high school called Kalani High School. And I had just discovered Catch 1. And he's well known here too because he's known for doing whole freights. But he was known to do full environments, trees, characters, like mountains. He would do top to bottom freights like that and got mad respect from writers out here in LA too. But this high school had a sick collabo piece. One side was East 3, shout out to East. And the other side had Phase 2. And then at the end had the classic con art mural by Catch, where it's the two cans and one can is standing over the other can, and he was blown away. I think you remember the T-shirt had the con art right in the front, and then had the graffiti character pointing a gun at the other graffiti character, but they were both spray cans.
Yes,
that changed my life when I saw that piece when I moved to Hawaii, because I was like fully engulfed in graffiti then, and to move, like being bummed, like fuck, we have to move from fucking the mainland back to Hawaii. Like I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But when I saw that piece, it was kind of like, I'm home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
the
they were here. They're
too.
here. They were here. They touched
Yes.
this. Like a blessing. Like, oh, welcome back. This is the place, right?
Exactly.
For right now.
Yeah.
Ah, that's amazing.
So yeah, you can't be bummed. Like you're here now. You know what I mean? So you still have this,
Yeah, and just thinking back, like the fact that you moved to Seattle, Washington, but then there happened to be the store that had real Futura pieces, like that's all. It's not coincidence, man.
Nah.
And you're
They
all
planted
touched
the
by
seed.
hip hop. Yeah, it's like all like absorbing and adding and all that shit. It's amazing. I love it. I love it.
And that's why that whole thing with Hawaii being behind, like when that's why it's so crazy, the different stages I went through, you know what I mean? Because even leaving to Seattle and then learning all this stuff from this shop, when I came back home, my mom was like, I went broke. Like I was working as a chef, but I fucking saved all my money. And that's how I survived for a whole summer, because I didn't do shit. I just paid rent with whatever money I had. And fucking my parents was like, when I ran out of money, my mom was like, you want to come home? And this was back in 2002. And when I went back home, because I had like a sponge sucked up all this knowledge and culture on design, streetwear, and it wasn't called street art then, but it was that movement. It gave me an advantage, because now I'm back in Hawaii where people are still behind, but now I have an advantage to move forward. And I mean, I think that's why another thing too, like I moved back to Hawaii at the right time, because I had a head start. No one was on it yet. You know what I mean? So,
that's real. I could see that. Like you kind of time travel. You're like, yo, let me go over here, get this shit, and bring it back over here,
totally.
And tell you what time it is.
Yeah. The only drawback to that at that time was there was nobody. There's no community. I was the only one on it, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's also another advantage I had too, because shout out to Information.
Oh yeah.
They were having guests come over too that were just visiting. So like Andy Howe or David Cho, or when those cats came to Hawaii, the only cat they could reach out that can link and knew anything about their shit was me.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
You know what I mean? So it worked out that way. So
And you build that relationship until this.
I did.
You guys still do dope collaborations together and stuff.
Oh yeah, shout out to Andy. That's the homie. We trying to get him on Boom Bap Kids too. So
that's good shit. Okay, 2 more questions, and then we go into the rapid fire. The next one: what figure or toy would be the ultimate addition to your collection?
Ooh.
And
I would say,
if you don't know, he has a crazy collection already. So this is a really good question.
It is a really good. I don't have the hubby, but my favorite piece probably in my collection, would probably be the Margaret Killigan toy. Because,
Mm,
that was Twist's wife and
mm.
came out through Tokyon. And it's just, it's that toy is like an image of like when I started, I guess, because it's like an old toy. It was when I first got into collecting. That same goes for my first Cause Bear Brick. I have 1,000% Cause Bear Brick that's beat up as shit because it's been with me since 2003. And I didn't know nothing about resale value and all that shit.
You're
So I
like, it's
tossed
mine.
the
I'll just do
yeah.
whatever.
I tossed the box, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I've even done shit where like I fucking put them in videos and I fucked with them, you know what I mean? And so it's like, but at a time I almost sold it, but that Cause and all my old school toys that I have, like either it'd be Michael Lau, the Margaret Killigan, the Cause toy, or even the Doze Green toy that came out, the
Mm,
Traveler. Like those toys been with me my whole career. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So that's why they're important to me, and that's why I love them because they'll never leave me. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
They're
And they've
super
been with
special.
me. Yeah, they've been on my whole journey. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about them.
But is there anything that are looking to add?
Oh, add like an
Yeah,
ultimate.
ultimate addition to your collection.
I just got it, and you can go get it now. Here's a shout out. Well, I don't know by the time they hear it, but it's the Buffalo Soldier by Kevin
Oh,
Lyons.
that's super cute.
So yeah, shout out to Kevin because he sent me one of his original ones.
That's dope.
So I have it, and I guess I already have it. I'm not asking for the
You don't gotta
ultimate
get
one.
it because you got it.
But yeah. So a lot of my toy collection now is just conversation. That I want to find the ones that are more conversation
Yeah.
starters rather than it be worth money. I mean, my Cause shit is dope because they're investments, but I like a toy where people walk in the spot and be like, "Holy shit, what the fuck? Where did you get that?"
Like the
You know?
banana that you got when we were in, what was that, Hong Kong or
Hong
Singapore?
Kong, Hong Kong. That's funny because every time someone comes over,
Right? They
that's
grab.
the toy where they look at it and they're like, "That's funny. Where'd you get that?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's crazy. Okay, last question
So,
from Marka is who would be your dream musical collaboration with?
oh man, dream collaboration. That is a super hard question for me. I don't think it would be. Oh, nah, that would be too easy. I was gonna say Dilla, but that's so easy. Maybe FKJ or something.
Okay.
Something smooth and chill, maybe. I don't know. Or oh no, Czarface probably. Czarface would probably be it. See, there's a lot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for different types
You
of
know?
things, for different vibes
Yeah.
and
Shout
stuff.
out to SO and 7L. That's the homies. But man, to just do anything with those guys would be a fucking dream. MF Doom would be. Rest in
Rest in
peace.
peace.
But yeah. I'm really digging what Czarface is doing because that I'm right there with them. Like
Yeah.
I'm a fucking comic nerd. Like everything about them is like it fits my persona. So that would
Yeah.
be a dream one.
Nice. Okay, well, we're done with questions for the audience. Let's get into these not so rapid fire questions, the AKA slow as hell questions. But I don't think they're going to be that slow for you. 3 words to describe yourself.
Fat.
You're not fat.
He's like hungry. No, I will say easygoing.
Yeah.
Um, passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And motivated.
Please believe it. I concur. What's the best piece of advice you've received?
Never forget your roots.
Mm.
Always give a shout out to your roots. Because I see that often. I see so many people climb the ladder to their success and don't even give that love back. You know what I mean? Because I mean, even when I was not doing anything, cats like that I met that had that same vibe, that chill vibe, and just just do what you do, man. Enjoy what you do, and never lose that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's those kind of cats that gave me that advice. And I pass on that same advice.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people lose that. They their heads get big, or
Yeah.
like they'll.
You can't let that happen. And it gets the best of us. Like it can happen to anybody, but maybe
Totally.
only let it happen for a quick second. And I think it also depends who's around you. If you have good people around you, they'll be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, they'll check you.
Yeah, they'll check you.
That's a good. Yeah, you need people that can check you.
You
for
don't
sure.
need the yes people, and I think that's what happens to a lot of celebrities of all types, right? Is they have they end up surrounding themselves with the yes people that are
Yeah.
like, let me say yes, because if I say no, I'm gonna get kicked out, and I'm not gonna get my money, I'm not gonna get my bread. But you need people that
Totally.
don't give a fuck, that they're not on the payroll, that are gonna check you, so you can be like, yo. You didn't make up this genre, fucker. Like,
Yeah,
there's people
exactly.
before you.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
And I hear like you and I are both like really into music, and like here like I'm so into like a new group or a new band or a new DJ or something, and then they ask him like, oh well, you kind of sound like such and such, and they're like, I don't know who that is. Really, motherfucker, you don't know who that is?
You're a fucking liar.
Like,
But
come
yeah,
on.
for
Like,
sure.
like shit like that. It's like, okay, they're young,
Yeah.
maybe they can, whatever. Okay, next question. What are you doing to dismantle the patriarchy?
To dismantle it?
Yes.
What do you mean, like the authority? Like, what do you mean
The patriarchy, like where it's a society, it's a system where men hold all the power and women are excluded. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like what are you doing personally on a big scale or small scale to dismantle that? Like how are you contributing to the dismantling of patriarchy?
Well, for me, I guess for my skill set, will always be creativity. Like using creativity, building things, and that's just universal. You know what I mean? Like women and men, talented. You put them together on some creative shit, it's even more powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's that. I mean, you see it even this past fucking pandemic year, like even during the protests, like. Art was prominent. You know what I mean? The creation of imagery and posters and just giving back that way, murals and stuff to represent the people and our movement. Like, you know what I mean? It's the creativity and the creations and stuff. So
yeah,
I fight with my creativity for sure.
And also just, I feel like you contribute to dismantling the patriarchy because you never look down on women. You see them as equals. You always have like, women in your crew, on all your different types of crews. You, like I said earlier on Boom Bap Kids, there's from jump, you've always had, female DJs on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you always give them you share the platform because it's just good people. It's good people. It's not, you're good for a good female DJ. You're just a good DJ. Like, you're not just a good female artist. You're just a good artist. Like,
oh, totally.
So like,
and
you're
everyone
doing
we have
that.
on our show, they're pretty much on the same vibe with us. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some DJs hit us up, and because of our circle, people are like, no.
Yeah. You got to be true. It has to work. You can't be guilted into
you
having
can be
someone
dope
on.
as shit, but if you don't have that same energy and vibe
That
with us, we're not gonna.
it doesn't mesh. It's not going to
totally.
work. And you have to know that. And that's another thing too, is I think people don't really, they kind of question like, well, maybe we should do it because then people will. No. Have to know in your bones, like your gut feeling, that's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like they could be dope as fuck, but over there in that lane, like.
Totally. And I see it a lot in the mural game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're just going together to go together, but it's not really working. Okay, next one. What is a song that you listen to get you hyped? That extra motivation, that extra punch. What is that jam? What is that track?
Oh, man.
He's looking right now. He's thinking. He's looking up to the sky. He's looking.
I am
He's
actually.
thinking.
Music questions are always hard, man, because I have so much. I always think about so much different ones, you know.
Tell me what a latest one, like maybe something you've listened to within the last month that got you hyped again.
Dude, anything from Boot Camp Click, that always hypes me up.
Get you. Okay, we got that.
You know, some Smith or Wesson or some Buckshot Shorty.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
But dude, yeah, I mean, there's so much because that's been my whole pandemic life is just hearing dope tracks.
Yeah. What can get me hyped today? Like, what can get me out of this funk today?
I do listen. You know what? I've been playing a lot. Pace One.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Who else? Because you know, like, I'm starting to hear a lot of dope hip hop shit that I've never heard that came out in like the
Back in the
2000s. You know what I mean? Because I was so fixated on my certain, you know, I was so into Project Bloat or super underground shit. Like, I kind of let a lot of shit go under the radar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I guess as far as right now, like, you know, it's a dope track that I heard and I kept on playing it in the last few days was New Forms by Bahamadia and Ronnie Size.
Okay. New Forms.
That's a high-pass song, yeah.
Okay.
It's like a drum and bassy song.
Got it. Sweet. I'll check it out. Okay, so final question of the Not So Rapid Fire questions, the AKA Slow as Hell questions. What will be your legacy?
My legacy?
Yeah. Like when you die, what will you be remembered for? Like what will you leave on this earth for the world? Or what do you hope that to be?
I would hope that people will think of me as a dude that always had fun no matter what. No matter how old he got, he was always doing cool, funny shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And always on some good vibe stuff, you know? And that's what I like to push. So, just some creative, fun, musical shit. I guess, I don't know, like, just, you know, pushing, just leaving a mark with good vibes, and because I think everything that surrounds me has been music. You know, I mean, I've been doing the Boom Bap Kids, but I mean, I always had music around me, and I have to every day.
Yeah,
I have to hear good music.
Same.
If not, I go nuts. You know what I mean?
I start my day with like music, like. I meditate for like 5 minutes, but it's before that or after that, it's like some music. Like I need music all as much as I can. And different music for different times of day or different tasks, but music and like quality music. And I want to learn more and, you know, see what's out there and see what the kids are doing. And
for sure. Hell yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. I feel like that will be I think there's no doubt, Woes, that will be your legacy. So thank you.
Dude, thank you.
For being on here with me. It's so good to see you. I know we like text and talk and da-da-da-da, but like to have a convo. A lot of stuff I know, but it's always just good to build. And if you guys don't know what Woes looks like, I'll have links you'll see all the shit. But it's funny because he looks like a bear. He does look like an Ewok. And he's super cuddly and he brings joy. So... Gracias, Woes, for bringing joy.
But yeah, dude, it's been an honor to fucking chop it up with you. It's dope. Yeah, and you know, I always talk about panda shit. Every time someone interviews me, they want to talk about panda shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was like, it's out there.
I like the music conversations.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I can't wait for shit to open up because I swear to God, like people that roll through, I know they know you, you know what I mean? Like, if they saw you, because a lot of these cats been either working or been involved in Coachella or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of the DJs, because, you know, you're a fucking Angelino. So it's like, a lot of cats that roll through, I know it,
And
that's
also
a lot
like
of the
vice
conversation.
versa, like because they don't know they don't know me from my life as like an artist, and like they don't know that like you and I are like brother and sister. Like, do you know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
totally.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like I was like, when I
Exactly.
was telling Mona Lisa, I was like, you need to be on this. She's like, oh, like, da da da. And I was like, because Woes is like my brother. You
Look
know
at
what I
that.
mean? So I
Wait,
don't
where's
see
the?
it.
Oh, here. Oh,
Oh,
wait.
oh shit! That's has she seen it yet?
Yeah, she likes it. John's still working on it,
Oh
but
my
see, look,
god, it's a
look
oh
at.
my god. It's a puppet of her. Oh my god, that's amazing.
She's hype.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
she's
she's so
super
hyped.
stoked.
She's the best. Shout out to Mother Mona Lisa.
Their whole
Um,
squad, man.
yeah, Umoja.
Umoja crew.
Yeah,
Yeah, high fidelity. Yeah,
I mean,
they came and ripped it.
they did, and I came back to see Mona, and just to see her evolution as a DJ. I mean, she's hip hop through and through.
Totally.
And if you
Totally.
haven't listened to her episode, you have to listen to her episode because we get
I
into the
will.
weeds about it, and
Okay.
it's a lot of hip hop history. And then
I
you
need to
get
hear
to
that.
you get to hear how I discovered Mona Lisa, and I was like, who the fuck is this person? She knows every fucking thing about hip hop. Like, I need to meet her. Like, So,
She had the Souls of Mischief Air Maxes on when she came into the
dude,
studio.
I'm telling you, man. Like, everybody knows Mona Lisa, and everyone
And she
loves
had
and
two
respects her.
pairs.
Yeah, everyone loves and respects Mona Lisa. Like when you hear her story, and that what we discuss on the episode is just part of her story, like just a,
That's
like a
dope.
smidgen of her story.
Yeah.
But like I was like, who is this lady? Like who? And she's not even that much older than me. But I was just like
Yeah.
just entering the scene, and I was like,
Oh,
how does
totally.
she
Yeah,
know all this
you
shit?
look at people.
Yeah, and I always
like
looked up to
here.
her. I was like, yo, like another female who knows this much about hip hop, like amazing. So, anyways, shout out to Mona. I can't wait to see that
Hell yeah.
live in the wild on Boom Bap Kids. Make sure to
Oh,
follow
dude.
and see. Bring yourself some joy, and do yourself a favor and go see Boom Bap Kids live on a live
For
Twitch feed, dude.
sure.
Do
Yeah,
that shit.
and I'll send you that the Sonny James joint and the Mad Skills one.
Yeah. So I never looked because I watch them live, but are they
Yeah.
archived on your
No.
thing? No, they're not. So if you miss it, you miss it.
We have some high what do you call it, like some snippets
Yeah.
on our YouTube channel, but they're really short, like how we have on our Instagram.
Do you have Sleazy B snippet?
We do have sleazy.
I'm
B
gonna put
snippets.
that on the show notes, kids, because you gotta see this shit.
I'll send it to you because there's some funny ones where I'm singing along with Sleazy B, but I don't have a voice, so it's just comedy because I'm trying to catch the notes as a puppet. It's so good.
Amazing.
I don't know if you know LA Bellatini.
No,
She's a DJ?
I saw she was spinning after Marissa.
She is a huge Sleazy B fan. So like when we
Good
popped
taste.
him up, she literally screamed. She screamed like wow, like and DJ Saluz, she made these dope ass. Shout out to Saluz. She did these little lockets for our guest
Oh, how cute.
where you open the lockets and it has Boom Bap Kids portraits in them.
No way. So that's what, like,
So
if you're a guest, you get one of those.
Well, just for that night, because
Oh.
she knew that Bella loved Sleazy B, so she gave Bella a Sleazy B locket, which was fucking amazing.
That's amazing, man.
And Marissa had the rest of us, so she had me, what do you call Silent John and Jayski.
That's
in her
cute.
locker.
And Marissa, I like her name. She spells
I
it
know
with the
you do.
2 S's, but it's okay. I'll let it slide.
She's dope. Beat junkie student. She's super cool.
Yeah,
Little
super
cutie. She's
cute.
dope.
Super
Yeah.
cute. She killed it when she was spinning.
Her
And I
selections
appreciate
was fire.
her selection
Yeah.
was fire. And I was like, yes, I love this shit right now. So shout out to the ladies repping on Boom Bap Kids. Gracias,
Hell yeah.
Woes. I love you, man.
Dude,
You're my
thank you. I love
hermano.
you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you. And shout out to everybody out there listening too, for sure.
Your industry is loud and congested. How will you cut through the noise while maintaining brand integrity? Regardless of how talented and creative your core team is, nearly all businesses need some level of support in order to communicate their message. From brand identity and graphic design to experiential and digital, let the team at Ritzy Periwinkle help you speak your mind and translate rough thoughts into captivating action. Visit ritzyperiwinkle.com today to schedule a no-cost 30-minute consultation to discuss the best creative strategies for your business. That's ritzyperiwinkle.com. Ritzy Periwinkle. Let's build. And now, introducing
the Supernatural Bear Corner. Supernatural Bear. Yo, yo, yo. What up, everybody? It is me, SMB16. And if you have heard me at the start of the show and then at the end of the show, you may have noticed I've had some differences in voice. That is not because I'm going through puberty. I still have a few years. But that aside, non-pubic causes aside, thank you, Spider-Man, this Spider-Verse. Today's real topic is about my Uncle Woes, who I kind of one time got mistaken for my Uncle BABU.
It happens.
It happens sometimes, and one person actually got him confused for Uncle BABU, and also he yelled, "Oh God, it's Dylan Peoples!" So, yeah, it's not just me. It's not just me, Uncle Woes. Not just me. Don't blame the play, blame the game. But also, thank you for the shout-outs on the Boom Bap Kids. I really appreciate it, and really makes my day. Or, it's not more like day, it's more like night. Yeah, you made my night. You always make my night. Well, so thank you, and yeah, that's it pretty much. Over. The young Woes.
Shooby-doo. Yeah. There you have it, episode 21. That was Woes. How amazing is he? My brother from another mother. And check out Boom Bap Kids, man. It will bring you joy. Have links to everything, of course. My little man loves his Uncle Woes. And he no longer mistakes Uncle Woes and Uncle BABU. He said because his brain is bigger. He said that it was smaller when he was younger. Not as small as a dinosaur, but smaller nonetheless. Also, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to episode 20, the one before this one, where it was just me. And I explained why I didn't have any guests. It's all about my mental health, therapy, and I was really trying to drive the point to try to normalize and destigmatize mental health within our community. So I have a mad links to a bunch of resources for you guys. And, when I was in the thick of it and then I edited it and stuff, I still had to put it up, upload it, and then push that button to publish, right? And I was like, whew, I don't know about this, but fuck it, publish. And I was just kind of, okay, fine. It's out there, whatever. But I got this comment, and this made it all worthwhile. Said, I just heard your last podcast on mental health. Kudos to you for sharing this personal info. It ain't easy, but you did it for a great cause to teach and destigmatize mental health within the Latino community. Sigue adelante, que eres chingona. Do you know that just made my day? Thank you to who sent this to me. First of all, I didn't know that you listened to the podcast. So that was a blessing in itself. And then the fact that you took the time to reach out to me to tell me this is amazing. So I really appreciate it to you and to anyone else that listened to it, and a lot of feedback that I got from it from friends and family. So I really appreciate it. And I hope that if anyone listened to it that I don't know, I hope it helps. And I hope you get the help that you need, because let's break them fucking cycles. But yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And let's keep it coming. We reap. Word to Your Mama is produced and owned by Ritzy P. The theme music was produced by Nico Beats. And as always, Word to Your Mama is brought to you by RitzyPeriwinkle.com and Panoply BPO